Do you remember that high school friend who was a okay guy, but never really all that cool? But then you saw them again at your 10-year reunion, you had a killer job, beautiful spouse, and the body of a Greek god? Well, that's kind of like what's happened to Polygon. After years of being known for affordable, no-frills bikes, they're suddenly showing up with carbon frames, innovative suspension designs, and a whole new crop of die-hard fans. So in this video, we're digging into Polygon's glow-up, making some predictions on the future of the brand. But first, let's talk about how we got here. Polygon's story starts all the way back in 1989, when they were just a small Indonesian manufacturer cranking out rugged, reliable bikes for the local terrain. It took them about 20 years to move out of the Indonesian market, but once they did, the ball started rolling quickly. And while that kind of growth is impressive, it didn't come without a few hiccups. Early international models were priced aggressively, but sometimes that meant outdated geometry or older components compared to the competition. It was definitely enough to raise some eyebrows. But instead of digging in, Polygon adapted quickly. Fast forward today, and it's a completely different story. Polygon isn't just keeping up, they're pushing boundaries. Their bikes have won some of the most prestigious titles in mountain biking, including the Red Bull Rampage, the UCI World Cup Downhill Overall, as well as several industry awards such as Pink Bike's Innovation of the Year. They've also grown an avid fan base of high-level riders with an eye for value, and it seems like almost every time I'm on the trail, I see someone else on a Polygon. And clearly, they're not slowing down anytime soon. And just this year alone, they've already launched 4 all-new models. Now first is the Colossus DH, a full-blown 200mm downhill bike that's already proven itself at both Red Bull Rampage and the Downhill World Cup. It features Polygon's legendary 6-bar IFS suspension, a mullet-compatible flip chip, and of course, an untouchable price tag. Then there's the Colossus TLE, Polygon's first lightweight full-carbon EMTB. It gets an all-new, more compact version of the IFS suspension layout and a Bosch Performance Line SL drive unit that's aimed squarely at riders who want assist on the climbs without compromising the way the bike feels on the way back down. Also new this year is the Helios, Polygon's top-tier road bike, reimagined with a modern aero frame and fully integrated cockpit. It's a major leap forward for the brand's road lineup, showing they're just as serious about tarmac as they are about the dirt. And finally, the Colossus N gets a full refresh, with updated suspension kinematics and mullet compatibility thanks to a new flip chip in the rear dropout. I've already spent a lot of time on the new N9 this year, with the smaller 27.5 wheel in the back, and let me tell you, it's a machine. But as it turns out, these 4 new bikes are just the start of what Polygon has planned for 2025. Because just a couple weeks ago, they showed up at Eurobike with 4 more bikes that they expect to have come out later this year. Up first is the Syncline DR, a full carbon cross-country bike with 120mm of travel front and rear and a totally new suspension layout. It uses a flex-stay rear triangle and high-mounted shock for that clean, race-ready look. And the paint job? Well, it deserves an entire segment all for itself. Then there's the Colossus T, a brand new 140-160mm trail bike that's essentially a non-pedal assist version of the TLE I mentioned earlier. One of the bigger talking points on this bike is Polygon's first ever in-frame storage, cheekily called the Poly Pocket. Bike number 3 is the Colossus TE, which once again is very similar to the TLE, but bumps the motor and battery size up quite a bit. It also has more travel, with 154mm in the back, paired to the same 160mm fork. And finally, we've got a carbon Colossus N, a race-ready upgrade to the recently released alloy version. It shares the same geometry and rear triangle, but the new carbon front end cuts over a pound of weight and adds the Poly Pocket, all while keeping UDH compatibility and the versatility of a mullet flip chip. All of these new bike launches have me wondering what the future of Polygon looks like. So let's go ahead and head down the rumor mill and look at some of the rumors and, yes, maybe pipe dreams that I've seen showing up on some internet forums. Now that there's going to be a brand new full suspension Syncline cross-country bike, seems like an obvious choice for them to go ahead and update the carbon hardtail as well. The current version is still solid, but it's been a while since it's got any major revisions. A lighter, more progressive version with modern, race-ready geometry could make a lot of sense, especially for cross-country riders who prioritize efficiency over technical handling. Next up, one of the biggest holes in Polygon's current lineup of bikes is a proper trail-oriented hardtail. The NTI used to fill that role with longer travel and more aggressive geo than your average XC rig, but it quietly disappeared a while ago. With bikes like the Siskiyou T and Colossus N covering the full suspension side of things, a modern hardtail with slack geo, a longer travel fork, and a dropper post straight out of the box feels like a no-brainer. Maybe we'll see the NTI name make a comeback. Speaking of the Siskiyou T, one of the most common wishlist items I've seen is an updated frame for their best-selling bike. People want to see revised geometry, UDH compatibility, and a flip chip to run it as a mullet. maybe even in-frame storage. Basically, everything we're seeing on the new Colossus N, but brought down to a more well-rounded and affordable trail package. Polygon's already proven they can deliver high-end performance without high-end prices, so fingers crossed the Siskiyou gets that same love soon. And even though we've mostly been talking about mountain and road bikes in this video, let's not forget that Polygon also makes a huge range of commuter and city bikes. But oddly enough, there's still no throttle-actuated model in the mix. With brands like Rad and Aventon dominating that space, a full-power Polygon with a throttle and some utilitarian features could be a big hit, especially if they price it like they do everything else. If you've got any other rumors that you've heard, or maybe some wishlist items, then you can leave those down there in the comments. I'll definitely be reading them, and you never know, maybe someone at Polygon will be too. It really seems like Polygon is going into a pretty big transitionary period. What started as a brand known for packing solid parts onto budget-friendly frames has slowly but surely turned into something more refined, more premium. We're seeing full carbon builds, high-end suspension, wireless drivetrains, and integrated storage. All the stuff you'd expect from big expensive brands, not a company that also makes $500 hybrids. So that leads me to the question of whether or not this is actually a good thing. On one hand, it's exciting. It's cool to see that Polygon isn't content with making bikes that are just good enough for the money. They want to make bikes that are good, period. Their latest models don't just compete on price anymore, they compete on performance, design, and innovation. And for riders who've already bought into the brand, it's a great sign of growth and maturity. But on the flip side, there's a real fear that Polygon might lose the thing that made them so special in the first place. If prices keep climbing and the focus keeps shifting towards high-end carbon builds, are they still the brand that helped so many riders get into the sport in the first place? Or are they becoming just another premium player in an already overpriced market? Honestly, I don't think we have anything to worry about. Yes, they may be making more premium bikes, but they're still going to release those same spectacular models that ride great and don't break the bank. The affordable stuff, like the Path, Premier, and Siskiyou series, aren't going anywhere. And because Polygon is still vertically integrated, still owning their own factories and working with direct-to-consumer distributors like BikesOnline, they've got the freedom to offer better value than pretty much any other brand can touch. So even if they do make more high-end bikes, it's a pretty safe bet that they'll still be more affordable than the competition. So whether you're looking for wallet-friendly weekend warrior models or performance-ready, race-driven builds, seems to me like the future of Polygon is looking pretty dang bright. If you want to check out any of the bikes we talked about today, or just poke around Polygon's full lineup, head over to BikesOnline.com. And if you've got any other questions, or just want to share with me what you hope Polygon is building next, you can drop those in the comments. After you've done that, you know what to do. Get out there, grab your bike, and get ripping.